All right, let's stick with the good. This time we're going to talk some LSU and what a big win it was for Brian Kelly in LSU. I mean, you think about that game, everything that goes into that game. Got the battle of Death Valley a little bit. Got Dabo Sweeney, Brian Kelly. You got one team that's built off the foundation of program and player development, and that's Dabo Sweeney. Dipped into the portal when you got Tristan Smith out of Southeastern Missouri State. Didn't hear much about him. When you got Will Helt out of Purdue, going to be a really good player. Showed up a little bit in that game. And then you have Brian Kelly, Blake Baker, Joe Sloan in a must-win year for Brian Kelly. It's well documented. Brian Kelly has not won a season opener before this game in Baton Rouge. So what they do, give credit to the front office, man. I'm here. I'm a former personnel guy. I got to give credit to the front office. You have to give a ton of credit to Austin Thomas, Preston Tiffany before he left for the Philadelphia Eagles, the job that they have done. Completely different team. And I had a lot of question marks coming into this game for LSU on the offensive line. I mean, you think about all the new faces. Tyree Adams has gotten to sit, developed. He's played a little bit. You think about that guard spot, that left guard spot ends up being Paul Mupinga. A lot of people thought it was going to be DJ Chester. Mupinga wins out. Then you think about center, they bring over Braylon Moore from Virginia Tech. We'll talk about him in a second. Right guard, Josh Thompson, who I loved coming out of Northwestern. And then Weston Davis, a guy that was a pretty intriguing player coming out of high school there in Texas. And another guy that hadn't played a bunch. And who do they have week one? Peter Woods, Tamarian Parker, Sammy Brown. Wood has a really good front seven, and Tom Allen is the defensive coordinator. So watching a lot of LSU football, I was kind of like holding my breath a little bit because the guys that just walked out the door were pretty good too. Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Garrett Dellinger, Miles Frazier. It's good players, man. So for LSU to play the way that they played, and I get it, the stats in terms of running the football weren't crazy. They ran for 108. But if you're an LSU fan and you watched every game last year, you knew running the football was like nails against a chalkboard. It was really hard. And LSU did some really nice things to get creative with the run game. And it's often overlooked because there's so much buzz around Garrett Nussmeier, rightfully so. And you look at this receiving core and they're just like, God, they got everything. You got Trey'Dez Green at 6'7". You have Barry and Brown and Chris Hilton, the speedsters. You have Aaron Anderson, who I love. And I mean no disrespect to this, but I think Aaron Anderson is who a lot of people think Zachariah Branch is. So smooth as a route runner. Great one-cut change of direction. The acceleration in and out of routes. And then the run-after-catch ability, which it goes all the way back to his time at Edna Carr. An elite punt returner. We haven't even seen that part of his game. And then Bauer Sharp, who I really liked, who was really active in that first half. So I say all that to say that's a lot of new faces for LSU, and they did what they had to do in the running game, and that was maybe one of the most cohesive offensive line performances that I have seen from a Brian Kelly offensive line going into year 4. And that bodes really well because those guys haven't played with each other. All 5 of them, they haven't. Let's talk about LSU and Nussmeier for a little bit because I got to talk about him before we get to this defense. That guy's made of the right stuff, man. There's some guys you watch and you're like, all right, I can tell this guy's been around ball for a really long time. And he is subject to his fair share of risque type of throws, right? That's what makes him really fun. He's a gunslinger. He played within himself, man. 28 of 38, touchdown for LSU. You see everything that he's doing pre-snap. He's a fun player to watch. And the biggest thing is I thought he maybe had 2 turnover-worthy throws. Maybe got a little aggressive. But this is the Garrett Nussmeier, the version of him that's the best version for LSU as a team. If you get this guy week in and week out, a guy that's going to take care of the football, maximize explosives, play on time, LSU's dangerous, man. I think everybody learned that. They just went into a very difficult environment on the road and won and played really, really good ball in the second half. I didn't even have on my rundown that I wanted to talk about LSU's offense. I want to talk about LSU's defense, man. Blake Baker, he's a dude. Got the LSU baseball cap on, got the cut hoodie. He's a dude, man. And going into year 2, this team, both offensively and defensively, and from a head coach standpoint, when you hear Brian Kelly talk about LSU during fall camp, you could tell these guys had a quiet confidence about him. And it's kind of like, all right, well, wait and see. I know we got to put up or shut up, but wait and see. Blake Baker to be able to have Gilreath back on the defensive line, to be able to get Bernard Gooden during the spring from USF, to add Jack Pyburn, to add Pat Payton, to bring in Gabe Relaford for another year. They have depth and they have athleticism and explosiveness there, which is really important for a Blake Baker scheme that they haven't had. It opens everything up. Second level, you got Whit Weeks, who's arguably the best linebacker in all of college football, right next to his older brother, Wes Weeks. And then you have Harold Perkins, who the big question mark was not only coming off an ACL, but where does he fit? We saw him explode onto the scene as a freshman, as an edge rusher, take over games against Arkansas and Ole Miss. Thought the sky's the limit, comes back, LSU moves him to an off-ball backer, and it's just not a fit. He didn't see the game as quickly as certainly a see-ball, get-ball type of guy coming off the edge. It didn't work out. So what they moved him to star. And it's pretty cool how this conversation came up because Blake Baker asked Harold Perkins, where do you think you fit best? And he had to nudge him a little bit. And he said, hey, star spot. Showed up, man. He can cover tight ends. You can obviously use him as a second-level pressure guy. His ability to come downhill and close space is unique. So that's a big development. And then the back end, maybe the biggest. P.J. Woodland has another year in the program. They liked him a lot last year. Maybe from a strength conditioning experience standpoint, it wasn't there. Played well. Mansour Delane, arguably the biggest addition for LSU this entire offseason. I mean, you think about T.J. Moore, Bryant Wesco, those guys were pretty much held in check. Now, it helps Antonio Williams, who's going to be a Sunday dude, gets nicked up in the first half of that game, has a hamstring injury. But Mansour Delane was awesome. And I have to admit, as a guy that scouted him in the transfer portal, I liked him. I didn't love him. He showed some stuff on Saturday that I didn't expect from him, and that's a huge development for LSU. Back end to Marcus Cooley, Jordan Gilbert, A.J. Halsey comes back in the second half after rocking a dude in the bowl game. Whew. I mean, they got the pieces. I think if you were LSU, they're probably like, I wish we had one or two more guys in the trenches. We'll see if Sadir Mitchell can come along, but big game, man. And I'll say this, the thing that really stuck out to me the most, the Berrien Brown touchdown that gets called back, LSU set to go up a score there in the second half. That ends up in a missed field goal. And that's it. Like, we've seen that. We saw that versus USC, seen it against Florida State of the last 2 years. The momentum swings in these games, and then all of a sudden you look up, just gets away from them. LSU defense comes on the field, forces a 3-and-out, handles their business. I mean, you want to talk about like championship stuff between your neck? You want to talk about building confidence? That's how you do it, man. So Blake Baker, a free Blake Baker, a confident Blake Baker. Dangerous dude, man. Dangerous dude.